Yogena means by controlling the senses and the mind. Mystic yoga in order to be firmly fixed in self-absorption. Well, in the translation, he's referring to mystic yoga. But then in the purport, it seems that Srila Prabhupada is giving a very broad definition of yoga. He's saying yoga does not necessarily mean mystic yoga, but yoga basically means to control the senses, because controlling the senses is there in mystic yoga, yama niyama, right? And it's going inwards, and it's also already there in bhakti as well. So Prabhupada is giving us the purports in the right context, so we don't get misled. Right? So in the context that we should understand, we should be practicing bhakti yoga. Kapila Muni may be talking about mystic yoga, but then bhakti yoga is also mystic yoga, isn't it? Like when devotees ask Srila Prabhupada, do you have any mystic powers? What did Prabhupada say? My mystic powers is not, generating some ash from my hand or something like that. My mystic power is that I've turned these malechas, meat eaters, sinful people, hippies, into devotees, into Vaishnavas. So we can see that mystic yoga, the real mystic yoga, is actually bhakti yoga. That's how I would answer it. Anything else? Love itself is not on the materialistic platform. So this is directly from the Shastras. Okay, so actual love does not exist on the material platform. Actual love exists on the spiritual platform. And love only exists between the soul and its origin, which is Krishna. So love principally is based on the relationship, the loving relationship between the jiva and Krishna. If we take that relationship and expand on it, because I love Krishna, therefore I love all of his parts and parcels, all other jivas. That love is genuine. Because it's based on the actual principle of love, which is the loving relationship of service, selfless service with Krishna. Now in the Shastras, it's mentioned that on the mature platform, what we call love is actually not love. In fact, it's pretty heavy. It says that it's actually lust. Because we may give a present to a certain person, we may take a certain person that we love out to a restaurant, right? And we may call that love. Actually, the reason why we call that love is because we don't know what actual love is on the spiritual platform. Now, even though we do that, and there's some degree of selflessness in that, right? Like you might take a person that you love out to a restaurant and you may pay for their dinner. That's selflessness. But there is some degree of selfishness there as well, in the sense that you serve that person, but then you expect some return from that person, either now or in the future. Because I've taken you there, therefore you should do this to me. We have expectations. Because I've done this, you do that to me. So that's not actual what love is. Srila Prabhupada mentions that in this mature world, the closest thing that we can come to real love, which actually exists between us and Krishna, is the love that a mother has for her child. And he gives the example that the child does all sorts of things, right? It spews, it yells, screams, does all sorts of things, but the mother still tolerates all this, doesn't take all these austerities into consideration, and still selflessly loves and nurtures the child. Essentially, all other relationships, although externally they may seem like love, they're based on the principle of sense gratification. Because anything which is separate from Krishna is based on sense gratification. What else can it be based on? Does that answer your question? Okay. So real love exists with Krishna. If we take that, if we love Krishna and extend that love to others, seeing them as connected to Krishna, then that's genuine. But if we separate from Krishna, then there's some degree of sense gratification. So the other person, you should not see the other person as Krishna. You should not. So that's one of the basics of the philosophy, Vaishnava philosophy, is that there is a difference between Krishna and there is a difference between us. We are not Krishna. Okay? So we don't see others as Krishna. We see others as little tiny parts of Krishna. And I'll give you a nice example of this, and we can discuss more after this class if you like. But the example given is that of a big body of water and a small drop of water. So Krishna is like a big ocean, and we are like tiny drops of that ocean. Right? So you can't sail a ship in a tiny drop of water, but you can sail a ship in the ocean. So quantitatively, there is a difference between Krishna and us. But qualitatively, we are equal with Krishna, in the sense that the water is wet, it has H2O molecules in the drop, and the same is there in the big ocean as well. So qualitatively, we're equal to Krishna, but quantitatively, we cannot compare ourselves with Krishna. Therefore, we should not see other people in this world as Krishna. We should see them as little tiny parts and parcels of Krishna. We should see them as connected with Krishna and serve them in that way. That they're little sons and daughters of Krishna, but not Krishna himself. Okay. Grantaraj. Yeah. Yeah. Yoga is a process, right, to reach a goal. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada ki jai.